Well, I do know the system is the one country that's poured most of its money back into the populace, and you get free schooling right up through university. It costs you nothing for lodgings and board, your food and so on. Medical care is all free. I mean, that's amazing. We don't even have that in the West here, you know.
Yeah. Let me tell you just a little example about the things that it is astonishing in Libya. You have 6 million people in Libya. That's a relatively small number of people. You have 50 university, 50 university with the latest equipments, big campuses. No one in Libya goes outside of Libya for work. Everyone in the Arab world goes to the rich oil countries in the Gulf to work. We have never seen one Libyan. All the people from the Arab world go to work in Libya.
Yep.
And one thing else, Muammar, he is the one that transitioned Libya from the all desert area. They didn't know what are the buildings was. When there's a funny story. When he first built these buildings and introduced it to people, those people with the sheep and the goats, they looked at the bathtub. They didn't know what it was for, so they put their sheep in it. With their sheep in it. because it was a transitional move for Libya. Also, everyone has a percentage in the oil of the country, and what can I say? There's many things.
But as you know, actually, it's down to 49 universities, because I read there that NATO just bombed one of them and flattened it. So it is horrible what's going on. This was prepared long in advance, as I'm sure most people know, with the soft power revolutions, the teaching of students, bringing students in from other countries for this to make it appear it was an internal revolution. And they actually wanted this same Arab Spring nonsense, as they call it at the Pentagon, to continue through all the countries, because it's the same agenda as Bush had with the New American Century, where they named off the countries they wanted to take down. And it was to end with Syria, apparently. So these guys are on the same course. There's only one plan here. And I think the Americans themselves feel just as helpless about their governments. In fact, they're frightened of their governments now.
Yes.
People are frightened of their government. Canada just declared last week there at the High Court of Canada that America was officially a police state. And Britain is pretty well close behind it. And so we really are rushing to the bottom. And I've said this for years, as they finish off the destruction of the Arab countries. See, they will not allow any different system than the one they have. They're standardizing this system across the entire planet. And they don't care what it costs in life or anything else. They have no care whatsoever. And the people back home, I think, feel pretty well helpless. And their government is far too far removed from them. The public have no say in this. It's not a democracy by any means whatsoever, you know.
Yes.
But it's terribly sad, because, I mean, the slaughtering that goes on makes me sick. And there's so many videos out now where the Allied forces that have sponsored Al-Qaeda and other rebels, just henchmen, really, mercenaries for hire, and they've gone through whole towns and raped and slaughtered, and it's just utterly sickening. And how they can try to bring some glory out of that for this great New World Order, I do not know. You'd have to be very sick yourself to accept that. But it's what's so true is that the public, as I say, are completely ignorant of the Arab countries. They don't even know that America's first naval war was against Arabian countries, you know. It was no sooner formed as the U.S., and the first time they sent a fleet off was into the Gulf in their history. They don't even know that. And they don't know about the British interventions there coming in to take over newspapers, to start the gossip, to get the strife going at the times of Lawrence. And they haven't read the 7 Pillars of Wisdom, where they basically decided after World War I to divide up these countries on behalf of Britain, so that Britain would control all the oil and so on. They have no idea at all that they have Hollywood, and I'll put up tonight again that link to Hollywood's defamation of the Arab countries. It's called Real Bad Arabs. And that's all the people have seen their entire lives for generations as the same nonsense. They don't see the cities, the first world countries' cities. They don't see the universities. They don't see the hospitals. They don't see the social services. They see none of that whatsoever. All they see is desert and people in the desert. That's what they get shown.
The Arab countries in this recent Arab Spring, I don't call it Arab Spring. It's an Arab disaster. It's an Arab hell. It's an Arab whatever.
But yeah, it's fomented by the West. Put it this way, the West is the one that's watering the garden here. Yeah.
Yeah. So they want. They have a big agenda, but one of the things I always notice in movies, I watch a lot of American movies. Everyone in the world is like pulled by this American cinema machine or organization. So what I see is very, I get very sad about it. Let me tell you one thing. In the last year, I've been in Scotland. I've studied in Scotland, in Glasgow.
Mm-hmm.
Are you from Scotland?
A bit north of Glasgow. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, like, I've been introduced to the Scottish or the British community. There's a lot of good sides of the British community I admire very much. Mm-hmm. And they are nice people, and they are friendly, and I've benefited a lot from that visit, from that year. But the thing is that what makes me sad is being and I'm sorry if what I'm saying, if what I'm going to say is gonna be like hurtful to some people, but I want to say what's in my heart. Mm-hmm. I really was sad to see the gay agenda being put in the community, in the television, in the schools, even in all movies, in all. I know that it's a crime to say something about that issue in Britain or USA. It has become something of a legal issue. Mm-hmm. You see, you can't really talk about that. I am against that, not from a religious position. That concerns me. If I have something religious against that concerns me. But what I am concerned for the Western people, and then will follow us that. What I am concerned for the Western people is this is destroying the family mechanism.
That's the purpose. That is the purpose. Yeah.
Yes, I am sorry to if I offend some people that think you should be with that agenda. You should be whatever is that. I am saying my opinion honestly. This is a disaster. I mean, this thing has not been put into a personal choice just only. So
no.
if you want to be whatever you be, but keep that to yourself.
Yes, it shouldn't be forced upon the public. But again, the Pentagon helps fund a lot of these movies too. But thanks for calling, and call again. And I'll be back with more after this break. Hi folks, we're back cutting through the matrix, and just to add a little bit to what Fabit was talking about too, the whole world, the whole so-called civilized world's had a war on it for a long time, and the masters of revolutions have been behind it, because you don't realize you've gone through the sexual revolution, umpteen different revolutions since, and it's one thing after another, and you don't realize that, you see, you now are the counter-terrorists, the ones that the communists used to say that they find the counter-terrorists there, the ones who are against the revolution. That's where you are now. You see, the ones that you've been voting for belong to a different organization altogether, all along. A third organization. And they were the ones behind all of these cultural changes. And they did say that they would destroy the family unit. That was a prime plank of the Communist Manifesto. The League of Nations said they would promote homosexuality primarily because they'd have no children. They didn't want offspring. They wanted to depopulate the world. And that agenda has never changed when the United Nations took up the cudgel. And we're getting bashed into conformity along the way. And as they rise it up to levels, children are so confused, they don't know what they are, and they're all being told to be as promiscuous as possible. And I've got an article here I'll put up tonight too. It's about they're now teaching children, young girls in Britain, pole dancing at 3 years and younger. Pole dancing for strippers. And that's okay. And then you read another article there, children under 6 are now on antidepressants, and you wonder why. You wonder why they're on antidepressants. And this is them starting life. We've all been the casualties of a war. Most folk don't even know it's been going on. And this is the end of it. Anyone who speaks out about it now, as I say, is a counter-terrorist. You're against the great revolution, a counter-revolutionary. That's a fact. And the Arab worlds now, they're getting hammered because they will not have any other type of culture except the one that's directed and lauded from the United Nations and the guys who run the United Nations. Not the guys you hear in the newspapers, but the guys who set it up in the first place to bring all of this into being. So the whole of society, the fabric of society, the glue that held together, is to be totally annihilated to bring in the new. Most of that in the first world countries has already happened. And they don't even know that. They've adapted through it. So we're going down so incredibly fast, and the public haven't a clue. They adapt, and they adapt. They're amazed with all their toys. They're given nothing for real news, nothing for history, and they're taught to be unconcerned about bombing countries simply because the people you think are different than yourselves. And you just be amazed to find out just how much really in common you have with them. We'll all bleed, you know. We'll all bleed. We all want the same things. And they're being decimated by our tax money across the whole Western world because of a big global agenda that we aren't even consulted on, and that most folk are completely ignorant of. It's disgusting to be alive today, you know. Eventually there'll be a few so-called very primitive communities. They already have them, by the way, of tribes living across the world. They'll use them like museums, like they did in Brave New World. And they may be the only safe places to go in the future where no one will molest you, male or female, or children, you know. Maybe they're the only places left where they still have the glue that holds them together and has helped them survive this long. But everything is to be destroyed to bring in the new. That's what they say. And God help us all. From Hamish myself from Ontario, Canada, is good night to me. Your God or your gods go with you. And with Clarence, Alex and Bill, maybe call back tomorrow. Thanks very much.